easy doing it with these squares as it is any other shape. I assume it would be. Then again, uh, I don't know how, like, something like a triangle might work, but it's all arbitrary when you start drawing stuff and you want it to look in perspective, it'll start mattering. Hard to explain without a demo, yeah. No, that makes sense when you're just fucking around. It's like, yeah. But it's definitely better than freehand. I mean, it's better in terms of looking like a actual cube than when I was freehanding, so that's good to know. And kind of good to know, I mean, it shows that you definitely have to um, distort your lines probably more than you might intuitively expect if you do freehand it to get the kind of quote unquote proper cube shape. Um, I seem to often get lost with which faces I'm missing. At least, especially the ones that are not supposed to be visible. But I guess I just have to kind of count how many faces there are, and then by that I know what I still need to actually draw. Also, yeah, this fucking ruler. I mean, this like it works. It's solid, but it's also kind of shit. I don't think it's really meant for this. I think this, as a carpenter thing, it's meant for like drawing on a piece of wood or some shit, not so much a piece of paper. So one face, one, two, three, four, five, six. All right. I guess that's that one. Had the same issues you did. No one really explains that it's just made up cubes on paper and don't get into the practicality. Yeah. That seems to be a thing with a lot of these like artistic tutorials or whatever, is that the people don't really, maybe they do it as like, maybe they do it sort of like an ego, like protecting their own ego subconsciously or something, but they don't really go into that kind of stuff where it's like, by the way, people, like, don't take some of the shit too seriously, or don't try to get super autistic with some of it, because at the end of the day you're just fucking drawing lines on a piece of paper. Like, this has no purpose, there's no composition, no story, no characters, it's just practice. Has no purpose, there's no composition, no story, no characters, it's just, yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, sometimes you can just happen to make something look kind of neat, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter, because there's nothing in it. It's just it's like a fucking a rock or a tree that you see in nature or whatever. Like, there probably isn't necessarily just some purpose for that rock to be there, but it just is. I think that's I think that was from that fucking. I think that might have been from that fucking Alan Watts thing that you showed, something like that. Like, yeah, I think that was from that Alan Watts thing. Is that something about like something or art that has stuff that is like, there's really like some guy just drawing like a random boat that he found, like crashed upon like some beach or something, just like drawing that. Like, there's no story or anything to that. It's just literally somebody drawing what they saw. Like, there's no story, there's no like purpose there or whatever. It just is. But it also kind of means that it's like it's not something to take too serious or whatever, I guess, or care that much about, besides the fact of just doing it. Hard to explain, but yeah, I think you and I both know kind of what we're talking about here. Demonstrated with grounding pony legs that I can square where the legs are touching the ground to find out where the hooves go. Same with human legs or anything touching the ground plane. Yeah, and also the fact, like, with that, and also the reason I'm trying to read your chat out loud is because for some reason I don't know, I don't even understand why the fucking stream shit does this. I've seen some streams where it saves like the chat replay, but a lot of from what I've seen, it seems like that never happens. Like even on streams that supposedly have the chat replay saved, I don't see any like pop out thing for a chat. So I'm just like, fuck it, just so for context, anybody watching this, that's why I'll just read out the chats for my own purpose, as well as if any time it gets rewatched, because otherwise you can't see the fucking chat anyway. Most of the time, it seems. Um, but what was it? Yeah, like, and at the end of the day, even if you are drawing something with some purpose or whatever, did it say for my last stream? I looked. I guess I didn't. Maybe I needed to hit a button that said like expand chat or some shit. Well, that's good that you saw it at least. So apparently it does exist. Um, excuse me. But like even if you are trying to draw something with a story or a purpose or whatever, like a lot of the times, unless it's really egregious, like trying to be absolutely perfect with like perspective and everything, as long as you and the person looking at it or whatever kind of gets the idea, and at least their mind does not get taken out of the illusion of what they're looking at, the illusion of perspective, the illusion of what's trying to be represented there, it really doesn't matter. Like being perfect is kind of pointless. It's pointless unless you're just kind of being autistic about it, like, oh man, I gotta be perfect because I have to be or some fucking shit. So like absolutely perfect perspective, unless that is what you're going for, is kind of silly to some extent. Um wow, holy shit, what time is it? It's 8:17 p.m. and it is still fucking pretty bright outside, man. That's fucking crazy. That is crazy, man. Jim Jung Gi. Jim Jung Gi. I mean, I should look at some of that shit, but at the same time, sometimes you get almost like, goddamn, I'm so bad at this thing, and like almost looking at somebody else's that is so much better, it almost just makes you like demotivates you almost. If they're just that crazy good, but it depends, I guess. But I probably will look at that at some point. What the fuck was I gonna say? Yeah, I fucked, or I didn't fuck up, but yesterday, what was it? 2 days in a row I didn't practice drawing. It was yesterday and the day before that. Oh, yeah, I'm not fucking, probably pretty hard to see the fucking bullshit. Um, I'll try to show it a little bit better with this camera. I definitely feel like at some point I might just buy like a fucking a GoPro or some bullshit and get like a fucking head strap and just have some fucking just have videos where I'm like literally uh uh, POV or the fuck is that what they call it? Point of view or whatever the fuck they call it, point of view fucking shit. Uh I feel like I probably will do that eventually, honestly, because I don't think GoPros are really that expensive. Um, and just for the fuck of it, I guess. I have a gooseneck, and I use my phone as a mock webcam if I need to. Yeah, it would be hilarious. Yeah, it probably would be. I mean, that's the thing that I always am just like amazed by, and it's once again to me, like we live in this idiocracy of a world and of a reality right now, like a literal like clown world, and yet there are so many people that I've seen that are just like so many YouTubers and stuff that are not even like that big or whatever, like barely, like you wouldn't be able to really even consider them quote unquote professional just in terms of making money or whatever. doing what they're doing, and it's like sometimes the competence, like random competence that these people have at certain things, like having a good setup for showing stuff like their drawing or a circuit board set up, set up to show like circuit boards and like a little microscope camera, and they have to have like four different camera views set up to like three or four different pieces of equipment and shit. And to me, I'm just like, you fucking kidding me with this shit, man? There's like what like some shit that I've seen, or even people that are just like crazy for whatever reason, crazy good at like editing their stuff. I'm just like, dude, where the fuck do these people just pull this shit out of their ass? Like, it doesn't even. I don't know. It's just it is almost like unbelievable to me sometimes. And then you have fucking me with a webcam setup. I like a budget but seemingly pretty decent microphone, fucking OBS, and I'm like fucking I'm like streaming my fucking crotch basically. I have a fucking a 2.5 pound weight around the fucking like base for this webcam that's fucking holding it, and it just looks fucking ridiculous, like some fucking ghetto shit. They're smart at the one thing and not many other subjects after. So, yeah, I mean, it seems to be there is like literally just so many people out there that are like autistically good at like certain things for seemingly no reason, but then like anything else, like they're like fucking blind as a bat. They're like blind as a fucking bat, incompetent as fuck. It's it really is like the movie Idiocracy. It's shit, what was I gonna say? But oh yeah, I like I cheated or whatever you want to say. I cheated myself for like 2 days. The last 2 days, I didn't do like anything. I mean, I did do shit, but what was it? It was yesterday or the day before that. I forget. Yesterday, I didn't eat, but I baked scones. Yeah, that was it. I the day before that, I think I was just lazy and it was late and I didn't do any drawing or any shit. I just said fuck it. But then yesterday, it wasn't necessarily because I was lazy, but I didn't feel like doing it. And after making scones, I fucked up my shoulder kind of. Like somehow I mean I won't even say like somehow. I was fucking grating the frozen butter with a grater, and I was trying to, and it's surprisingly hard to grate frozen butter. At least with the grater I was using, and my fucking shoulder muscle was like, I was fucking stressing the fuck out of it, I guess, because later in that day my fucking shoulder was like really fucking killing me. So I just said, I don't feel like fucking doing shit. I don't feel like doing any drawing, so I said fuck it. Yeah. So yeah, I have fucked up the potential of making this a routine, kind of, or at least I cheated on that. So not that it really matters that much, but just a note, on that. I did make those scones, and oh, ow, my ass. I guess I'll show a picture of them because why not? Where are they? Here, screenshots. What was it? 17, like 12 chocolate chip scones. Yeah. Yeah, they came out, they're pretty big. They came out pretty big, but they did come out pretty good. I think I could have baked them for like another 2 or 3 minutes to make them just a little bit crunchier. But yeah, fucking mixing those fuckers was surprisingly difficult on my shoulder, but that was mostly the fucking butter grating bullshit. One of my biggest fears was injuring myself and fucking up my yearly streak of practicing every day. Yeah, it's... I think I'm just gonna have to accept myself that if I want to be doing other things, yeah, a scone is actually pretty good. It's like it's not. It's kind of sim. If you ever had the Kentucky Fried Chicken fucking biscuits, it's kind of a texture similar to that, but instead of being like sort of savory, it's sweeter. Cause scones, the KFC biscuits, like fucking, it's so stupidly confusing with the stupid English language, for no reason. In the UK, in like the UK and shit, and probably Australia as well, they call biscuits what we call cookies. They call biscuits. So if you say biscuit in the UK, they actually usually mean like what we would consider a cookie. But if you say biscuit in the US, you would usually assume something like the biscuits from like a buttermilk biscuit from say like KFC or whatever. But for them, a biscuit is a cookie. And it's a similar thing with the scone. A scone is in the UK what we consider a biscuit, like from KFC or whatever. But a scone in the US is like a sweet savor, or it's not savory, a sweet dessert kind of thing. But it's made in a very similar way. They have almost the exact, for the most part, exact same ingredients and are made in a similar way. But they're usually cut into a different shape and with just slight ingredient difference. Like a scone in the US has sugar added, like a fair amount of sugar added, whereas a scone in the UK, the more savory one, has less sugar, and some other fucking shit. But they're pretty good. Like if you got a scone from a bakery, you probably like it. It has like a sort of flakiness of like a pie dough kind of thing, sort of. But yeah, it came out pretty good. It was the first time I had made a scone before. I think I probably could have added even a little bit more salt, but I'll probably make them again. I'll say the process was kind of a fucking pain in the ass. Mostly for the stupid frozen butter bullshit. But besides that, no, they weren't that hard. But I showed that. Not that anybody cares, but yeah, they're pretty good. I was gonna make cookies as well. I had the cookie shit prepared in the fridge, but I didn't feel like it yesterday after I did that. But I'll do that tomorrow. That's what I plan to do tomorrow, at least. Make a bunch of cookies and some cookie bar things. Oh, for whatever reason, my fucking index fingers, or my left index finger fucking kind of hurts today. But my right index finger doesn't really hurt, it's just a little bit. I think I got a fucking mosquito bite, like, right on my knuckle. I'm like, like, 3 days ago, I was like, why the fuck is my knuckle so itchy? And then I was like, oh, it's a little bump. I was like, oh, fucking mosquito bite. Nice. Yeah, now that I started talking, I don't really feel like continuing on the 1 point perspective shit. I mean, I did like 5 or 6 squares. I think that's cubes. It's not too bad. I think I'm kind of getting the idea here. I think I would like a better ruler, or at least one that's a little bit more flexible and a little less cumbersome. I mean, it's not necessary, but a clipboard that is not this fucked up would be nice too, but I guess it's not really necessary, but Not that I feel like just spending money on some random bullshit like that when it's not necessary, but yeah, it is fucking crazy how delayed. I don't know if the audio is delayed or if it's just my feed of the live stream that's delayed, but the audio seems to I forget what 3P perspective looks like. Another thing they don't explain is that vanishing points don't exist in the real world. It's just a tool to help figure stuff out. Yeah, like shit. If you think about it, like the horizon line bullshit doesn't exist either. Like, you know what I mean? It's it's almost just an optical illusion that our eyes make if, the Earth supposedly has curvature or whatever. Like, supposedly, I don't know. Like, when we look into the horizon, it just does that, distorts that way because it's our eyes making that illusion, I guess. I don't know. It's not really what's happening. Or supposedly the light is curving or whatever the fuck. I don't know how it's described, whatever they would bullshit it as. But as you said, it's not something that exists. It's just once again, it's like drawing like this, or I guess maybe just 2D art in general, is like, it's literally just like illusion magic from like fucking an Elder Scrolls game, like illusion school magic. I mean, I know normies would probably not like that way, it's that explanation, but oh, whoops. I guess I'll put this back. I know normies probably wouldn't like that explanation, but that's probably basically what it is. Is, yeah, illusion. It's just fucking illusion magic. It's not real. It's not real. It's just a fucking line on a piece of paper. It's like being a magician, but somehow, but less, get super butthurt when I used to reduce it like you do. Yeah. Oh fuck, what was I gonna say? It's like a magician, but without the social manipulation aspect of it. Yeah, that's what magician basically is, like illusion magic, or illusion plus emotion, or illusion plus social deception, or whatever you want to call it. And drawing is like illusion with visual deception. I don't know if that's, yeah, I guess that's visual deception. That's one way to put it, I guess. Oh man. This is one thing I love about these stupid tools. You always have to wonder what half these fucking things that they have on them for are like there for. Like this, if like this fucking thing here that's like right at the intersection of the square points or whatever. I'm sure that's just for drawing like dots right on at the intersection points. And then this, I don't really know what that's for. Maybe it's just to be able to see the line or some shit, or be able to see through it somewhat. You could, yeah, that's actually a good point. I don't know why. I was thinking of using something else, but yeah, that is a perfectly valid point. A credit card. I've got plenty of those. Wow. Why did I not think of a credit card? Yeah, that's probably the most convenient straight object to use for something like this. That's a good idea. Or just one of my bullshit expired IDs. Did I feel like drawing anymore? Just make sure it's expired. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna use a credit card. I think I'll probably use one of my IDs or some bullshit. This fucking thing, I'm gonna put it away. I still need to do point perspective stuff. Practice that, obviously. I mean, one day is not enough to get the fucking idea here. Especially if I want to do 2-point and eventually maybe 3-point. I don't really get the idea. I don't really get the point. That one I don't understand. The 3-point perspective. I understand sort of 2-point perspective and 1-point perspective, but 3-point I don't really get it. Like, I guess it's X, Y, and Z axis? No. Yeah, 3-point seems like I don't get it. Like, when he was explaining it, I'm like, why would you do this? It's one of those, yeah. Unless you're looking straight onto something. Yeah, I mean, there's a few instances where you do that, like those city drawing, the fuck you call those like city drawing things, or drawing like a train track or whatever. It seems good for making sort of 3D objects, I guess. But yeah, 3-point perspective sounds overkill, kind of dumb. Did I feel like drawing more? I don't know. I think I'm just gonna fucking talk. Now I'm in the talk mood. Now I'm in the bullshit talk mood, so why don't we just do that for a little while? Distortion. Distortion. Let's see. I'm trying to think what the hell that art distortion is a. Oh wait, let me change the screen to that. Well, I'll make sure I don't show any nudity, I guess. I have to wonder, playing music, I have to wonder how the copyright works for live streams or whatever. Oh shit. Yeah, well, that's fine. Not that I. That's one thing that I like doing this drawing practice is I try not to like have earbuds in because I mean most of the day I'm listening. Oh, like if you're high above the sky or looking up from below. Okay, so if like say if you're drawing like somebody looking up towards a or up at a big mountain that they're trying to climb or some bullshit like that. Yeah, that I guess that makes sense. 3-point perspective. Perspective. Ah, okay. Okay. So it's like if you're distorting it going kind of looking upward, that makes sense, or downward. These kind of things make a lot more sense, obviously, when you have kind of a visual example rather than a visual example rather than just the explained through words. Obviously. Yeah, that makes more sense. Now, how often would I really use that? Probably not often, but it's cool to know, I guess. The fuck was I gonna do? I was gonna look up something. I forget. 3-point perspective. I was gonna probably look up. Man, I've been using ChatGPT a lot the past few days. Fucking, it's. I don't even. I mean, then again, I guess boomers and people like that, like they barely even know how to use like Google as in any way at all. Like barely know how to use Google, but it does seem at this point like there is almost no point to use like Google for most questions now that you want to look up or whatever, because at this point ChatGPT and shit has just become like straight up a replacement for that. And I know people have talked about this already, but like it really is like if there's just a question that you have, like most of the time you're not going to get a good answer from fucking the search engines anymore. Like most of the time it's mostly articles that are generated by AI and they answer in a very shitty roundabout way. Instead, just ask the AI, the LLM itself, and you usually get a better fucking answer. I don't know. It's fucking weird, dude. It's weird, and how quickly it has changed. Like, what the fuck was the shit I was looking up? Never use chat. Does it basically research for you? It doesn't really do research necessarily, but it kind of takes like all like the search results you would have gotten and kind of like summarizes them almost. Like I guess let's just show you a few fucking examples. And a lot of the time you just do it the fucking like I don't know. Like there's just I would say because you are not vehemently against AI or whatever, like it is definitely a useful tool. I would say definitely try it, and like anytime you have to ask something like on Google or some shit, just consider trying to ask it on ChatGPT instead, and just see if you like what comes out more or whatever. Like I know it hallucinates a lot, but at the same time, these fucking search engines lie and hallucinate in the same fucking way. Like the results are just as shit. Pretty much the only reason I could see looking up stuff on the search engine directly now is just for image and video searches. Like even just looking up stuff that seems very like local or whatever, like stuff that it, like practically say like, you know, local roofers, local roofing companies, local HVAC companies, local whatever, local companies. If you ask that in ChatGPT, it'll basically just give you a bunch of results with sort of summaries of like what those companies like what those companies ratings are, where they're kind of located, stuff like that. Whereas if you do that on the search engine, you have to go through all the work to actually look through fucking these bullshit links, most of them. So it's surprisingly it is really, in my opinion, is just the better search engine at this point. Like the search engines have just purposely been made shit, so ChatGPT replaces it, and it is really succeeded, I think. But it's bad because now people have to think even less. Not that they think much in the first place. But you know, you have to as well fact check certain things. Like you shouldn't take everything at face value, but for a lot of stuff, it is usually fairly accurate. I'll say that. Like I don't know, I just looked up this shit. What the fuck did I look up? I looked up. Why did I look this up? I looked up, yeah, because my dad's Honda was having some check engine light for emissions or some shit like that. And then I looked up that, and I didn't look it up on ChatGPT, but I looked that up. I caught it a few times giving blatantly wrong info. Yeah, I don't like that stupid AI overview bullshit, but going to ChatGPT itself and having like a little bit of a back and forth question conversation usually seems to get me fairly accurate info, but it really depends, I guess. But like I was looking this shit up for the coolant in his car. Basically, I was saying like, okay, just to think, say if we needed to, if I was going to flush his radiator, completely flush the coolant from his radiator. I was saying, okay, well, how many containers of coolant would you need to fill up an entirely empty a radiator or whatever for the car coolant system? And it was like, all right, you know, I don't know how accurate any of this is. I don't know what the fuck, you know, where it got this info, but it seems believable. Like otherwise I wouldn't have any idea how much there was, but apparently in a 1.8 liter, I think his is a ninth generation, a 1.8 liter engine, it has about 7.2 liters or 1.9 gallons. So I think generally they come in 1 gallon containers, so it would be like almost 2 gallons of coolant or whatever. So I was saying, you know, how much cheaper would it be to use the pre-mixed coolant compared to getting the concentrated coolant, but then adding your own distilled water instead? And, you know, it would be probably a little bit cheaper and shit. And, you know, if you ask these questions, like, you'd never, just on the search engine itself, you would never get, like, this kind of, like, breakdown answer or whatever. Something like this, like, premix 50/50, $12.18, blah, 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 concentrate 18 to 25, distilled water 1 gallon, you know, that kind of fucking shit. Like, you'd never get that on the fucking search engine, like, directly. Then I asked it, like, you know, what, you know, why not, you know, why not just put 100% distilled water in the cooling system? Because water is a better thermal conductor than the antifreeze. So why not just put 100% if you live in a not cold area? Well, then it was like, oh well, part of the reason for the mixture of antifreeze and shit is also because it has anti-rusting agents in there to keep the radiator from being rusted out by pure water, basically, and shit like that. So you wouldn't, unless it was just an emergency, you in theory would not want to have 100% distilled water in your cooling system. You'd want to have at least a 40%, like 40% 60 mix or whatever. But that's just some fucking random thing. I asked other things because Billy talked about this. He mentioned like multi-level marketing. And I was like, what's the difference between multi-level marketing and a pyramid scheme? And then it kind of broke down the differences because I didn't really know the difference. Like, I didn't know the difference. I didn't really even know what multi-level marketing really was. I still kind of don't. I didn't really go down that far with it. But I guess the main thing is the pyramid scheme is it doesn't really have a product it's physically selling. It's literally just kind of selling an idea and trying to get more and more people to sign up to try and sell that idea or some shit. Whereas with the MLM, they're actually selling a real product, kind of. Probably think sort of like I remember these fucking like door-to-door like knife cutlery salesmen or some shit. That would probably be more like a multi-level marketing technically. Billy breaking down the child support scam is pretty eye-opening. Never knew there was a third party involved in all of that. That seems crooked as fuck just on the surface level. Oh, it totally is, man. Because I watched another red pill guy, I remember. Well, I mean, I'm not saying Billy's like in this red pill thing, but I watched another guy that was in that red pill community thing a while ago. And he was a guy that was dealing in a similar situation to Billy. I forget what his name was, but he was dealing with a similar situation to Billy with the child support shit. I guess in Billy's case, he actually fought it all the way, which is, good for him. This other guy, he only started to fight it after a few years of paying it or some shit like that. And he had probably very similar bullshit. But it sounds like Billy did the even higher. Maybe Billy had an advantage where his wife seems like a complete idiot, even though she knew eventually that the system is fighting for her. She seems like a complete fucking moron, whereas maybe this other guy's wife was a little bit more clever, possibly. But Billy seems to he talked about similar stuff, sort of. But this guy also talked about more of this stuff where that stuff that we already kind of know, that the social security number and all that shit, your name, as Matt puts, what the hell does he say? First name caps, last name caps, or first name all caps, last name all caps. That is our government scapegoat or entity or whatever the fuck you call it. That's our government identification. It's our scapegoat. Like, it's not really us, but it's like it's almost it's like a government's entity of what it says we are, kind of shit. But at the same time, like, if you fight it, they don't really have any real legal recourse or whatever. Like, it's all nonsense, basically. It's all made up fucking bullshit. But yeah, the child support thing, it's like a digital doppelganger in a way. Yeah, basically. Like, but it's, once again, it's like this illusion shit, like magician shit, is that it convinces people that they are that thing. So then they identify with it, and then they agree, almost like letting a vampire in. They agree to let the system. They sign a contract, in essence, agreeing to allow the system to use that thing as a literally them or whatever. Kind of. I hope that kind of makes sense what I'm saying. I mean, I think you already get it, but how I'm trying to describe it. But yeah, what Billy was saying, I was like, man, I'm like hearing almost the exact same shit that I heard from that other guy. Not the exact, but I think Billy described it better, honestly, and clearly he fought it better. But yeah, it's fucking. This is I have been getting emails, from a what was it? So it was a few years ago. I decided to stop using our Verizon phone plan, and go to a different phone plan. It was like, I don't know, US Mobile or some shit, like a much cheaper third-party distributor kind of thing. And the reason I did this is because Verizon decided to. This is during the CV bullshit, but Verizon decided to up their monthly base cost. Like, no matter what plan you had, they were going to charge you $15 a month more just because. And I was just like, you know what? I'm fucking sick. Like, I'm already paying enough for this fucking bullshit. So I'm like, you know what? Fuck you. So I said, you know what? I'm done fucking paying their shit. But I still had an outstanding payment to make. I think it was like 100, maybe like $100 or some shit. I was just like, fuck you, I'm not paying that. So I just ignored it. I just said, all right, I'm not paying that bullshit. And if for fucking like weeks, I got a few emails like saying, oh, you know, you gotta pay this. And then, you know, it gets more desperate, like, we'll help you pay this, blah, 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 shit like that. We'll reduce the payment. Or reduce the payment to like 50%, just pay it. Kind of bullshit, more and more desperate, basically, emails. And then eventually, after that, I started getting emails from a debt collection agency. And the way these fucking debt collection scumbags work is that the companies realize that the debt collectors are basically buying people's debts from these companies, or they're buying the debts from these companies, essentially. So Verizon, when they have somebody that does not pay after a point and they can't get payment from them, they basically give up. And then they sell that unpaid debt, to one of these debt collection companies for like usually pennies on the dollar. So say if it was like $100 of debt that they wanted to get paid, they might pay that company might pay $10 or maybe even $1 to own that debt, in essence. And then they get the information for the debtor. In my case, I was the debtor. They get the information for the debtor to contact them and shit. And then that debt collection agency, in an attempt to get their money back, which they paid almost nothing for in comparison, but then they start pestering that person in an attempt to strong arm them and scare them into paying that debt. So say if they paid $10 for the debt, if the person is an idiot and they do pay it, then they'll get they'll get $90 of profit or whatever in that example. And then funny enough, I just kept ignoring them as they did the same kind of tactics and shit. More coercion and attempts to coercion. More attempts to bargain and stuff, or make deals like, okay, you know, if you pay 50%, then we'll if you pay 50% of the debt, then we'll forgive it and all that shit. That's sort of insane considering all the man hours that go into all that bullshit. Harassment and energy used to collect that debt isn't even close to being worth it. I mean, it must be worth it, at least, you know, I mean, it is a fake reality, but it must be worth it to some extent for these companies because they are willing to do it, and apparently they're able to stay open. Like, there's a surprising amount of debt collection companies out there. And these fuckers, they even... these fucking debt collection agencies, they even buy from each other. Because after not even responding to any of the emails from that fucking place for like months, they eventually sold it to another debt collection agency. Some chick with some supposed chick with a debt collection agency started emailing me in reference to that same one. So she probably paid them like 10% of what they paid or some fucking bullshit. So if they paid $10, then she paid $1 for the same debt. And then in her coercion difference saying, I don't know what the fuck it was. You know what? Maybe I shouldn't show that actually, because I don't know if there's any personal info. But basically, like, what the fuck? But you're saying all that energy, and I guarantee for a lot of them, it's not even that much, because one, they're most likely at this point using shit like ChatGPT to make up the emails, or they're just using copy-paste email shit, or just having automated systems do most of it at the end of the day anyway. So I don't think even at this point, but I think for probably larger debts, they would actually have people calling up, I guess if they could find the info, because I remember this prank calling channel, or this one prank calling channel that used to be fairly active, but he stopped after a while. He made some pretty fucking funny prank calls. They discovered the number to this like debt collection agency, and they just started calling them. And these people were fucking jackasses. I mean, just like any other workplace, like fucking jackasses. They act professional, but then as soon as you get a little bit under their skin, they become, all the professionalism goes out the window. The curses and the name calling and stuff come up, and it's fucking like high school again. But yeah, no, they even have people that physically work at these places, so they must make some kind of decent profit to have like multiple people working at these fucking places, like 6 different people or some shit. It's like, it's fucking amazing. And there is so many people that are willing to do that. Pay, like, they get scared of debt collectors. Like me, I kind of know sort of how the system works to an extent. So I'm like, I have like no fear of these fucking bullshitters because I know that's all they are. I know that debt in general is just made up numbers on a screen. Like these banks or these companies that give out like loans or debts or whatever the fuck, it's not even their money. They're just making it up. Like, they're just putting numbers on a computer screen. It's not any money that they have. It's fucking nonsense. As Matt says with the economy, it's the same shit. So, if people complain, oh, you're taking the bank's money. It's like, it's not even their fucking money. It never was. But besides that rant, why did I even get on that? Oh yeah, Billy's shit with his child support and stuff. But yeah, it's like the exact same fucking thing, man. It's not even a real, quote unquote, real government agency. It's like a third party fucking people that essentially have the go ahead by the government to do these kind of things in the hope that the person, in this case, the husband, the ex-husband, like Billy, will comply and then sign a quote-unquote legally binding contract by agreeing to their mostly bullshit coercion. Like, when Billy says that this country is fucked up, every country's fucked up, I think, but yeah, America is really fucked up. When it comes to that kind of shit with this like lawsuit and this like legal nonsense, it is like really fucked up. I mean, they're all fucked up, but really, no, it is so prevalent in the US, it is fucking nuts. Because none of that, like, if you actually went down the rabbit hole, is actually, like, most likely not really legal. But if you agree to it, it's kind of like how fucked up it is with like, how lawsuits work. Like, if the person that is being prosecuted for a lawsuit does not respond, they by default, does not respond by a certain period, they by default in the court lose whatever the case was about or whatever, they by default lose. So like, even if the person was fucking completely oblivious or whatever, but that's why, supposedly, that's why they need to physically mail and deliver and confirm that the prosecutee, the person being prosecuted, gets the I forget what the hell the term is. Fuck. They have to get the summons. They have to get this. Yeah, they have to get the summons. But that's why they have to go through all this bullshit to give the summons. And they actually hire third-party people, sort of like quote-unquote private eyes or whatever, like people that have their own company sort of like people that repo vans or repo vehicles. Like, they're not even like a government person or possibly not even involved at all, but they're just hired as a third-party contractor to do these things. Usually, in some cases, like going through like potentially violence or whatever, stuff that would be like trespassing, like sort of illegal stuff. They are hired to do that. So these people that are hired to give out these summons papers sometimes, like if the person doesn't answer after a few times, they have to get somebody else to give the papers, basically. But as soon as that person gets that summons, gets that summons, if they do not attend in some way or respond to those the legal summons, they by default like lose, and it's fucking bullshit. Let's see. Yeah, I had to deal with that shit a few years ago. Shortly after my mother died, a sheriff delivered the notice. Shortly, I had to pay a damn lawyer to take care of it. Yeah, I mean, you don't I know. I'm just saying you don't technically have to get a lawyer. It's sort of similar to what sounds like what happened with my dad when he got audited, his tax audited at some point, and I think there was a parody kind of episode of that in probably like The Simpsons or some shit about getting audited, and like actually that was in the Honeymooners as well. There was a Honeymooners episode that I remember watching with my dad, and Ralph gets audited for his tax, and then he starts freaking out, but then he starts freaking out over like nothing. He starts freaking out over nothing because then he actually goes to the office finally after fucking flipping out and shit. And he just like signed his name wrong or some bullshit, and that was it. Like, it was similar to when what was it, during the fucking bullshit CV shit. Yeah, let me put a bookmark in that. Yeah, I didn't have to get a lawyer, but this was in Texas, and all the legal jargon was, oh yeah, no, fucking all the legal documents everywhere is fucking word salad bullshit. My wife knew more about that sort of stuff. She wasn't even sure what they were suing me for. Yeah, no, it's I had to fucking deal with some of this shit when my mom got sued by this asshole that backed into her at a intersection, and because she got emotional, the fucking female cop basically assumed that she was the one at fault, even though the guy backed into her. She didn't go into him. He backed into her. But the fucking female cop, because my mom got all emotional because she's a fucking, how these women are, they get emotional. She's a mental child, whatever. The fucking female cop automatically assumed that she was the one at fault. So then she gave her a ticket. She gave her a ticket for either reckless or probably careless driving or some shit. We had to go to the fucking courthouse just near the library over here and deal with that ticket. And all we had to do was, we could have fought it, technically. We could have fought it, but it's the way that it works, in the U.S. is so fucked up. And maybe it's the same for every state, probably is. But it's so fucked up that you're better off not fighting it and just paying off, pleading guilty and then just paying it off so you don't get points and you don't have to deal with the whole legal nonsense of basically a cop's word against yours. But then the lawyer told me it would probably be best if we just plead guilty or whatever. I was like, yeah, that's pretty much what I was expecting. So then we pleaded guilty. She had to pay fucking $450 fine. Ridiculous. But then I didn't realize, who would know this? In Jersey, if you plead guilty for a ticket or something like that, if you plead guilty like that, if you don't specifically tell the judge, I'm pleading guilty, but with reservation, like if you don't say those words exactly, with reservation, then people that want to use that ticket against you in a legal case are allowed to, if you do not say with reservation. I only learned this afterwards, after I had to deal with the fucking lawyer shit for like months. The guy told me, oh, you should have said with reservation. I'm like, how would I know that? Oh, he's like, well, you should have hired a lawyer. I'm like, dude, fuck you, man. You're gonna fucking tell me, yeah, you should have hired me. Fuck you, dude. The system and your fucking bullshit are crooked, and you fucking know it, douche. And these are the fucking guys that were defending us from our insurance company or whatever. They were the ones supposed to be on our side. I'm like, this guy's a fucking asshole. Oh, you should have hired a lawyer. Fuck you, bro. But after that shit, at least in Jersey, it's probably similar for some states, but you should have said, like, Chrono during his trial. Yeah, pretty much. But she got sued by the guy that backed into her because he was trying to sue her for like bullshit injury, like bullshit injury, fraudulent injury shit or whatever, saying that he hurt his neck and shit. And they did it. It only went through maybe like a year afterwards because that was probably like they still had a few months before the statute of limitation came up where they weren't allowed to basically make a case after the event happened. So it was almost 2 years after the stupid incident happened. And then they sued her for that bullshit. But then they also found out after that, and I'm sure that's probably what their main reason for doing it is because I said that she pleaded guilty for the quote unquote reckless or careless driving. So they saw that on record and were like, oh, we can make some money off of this. So then they sued her for that. The fucking stupid lawyer on his side, I could tell he was a fucking idiot. I mean, of course they are, but he fucking was like, oh yeah, we went to the deposition or whatever the fuck. It was like a phone deposition, on the phone or whatever. This is during the fucking CV bullshit, I think. I think it was. It might have been a little bit before that, I forget. But it was a not in-person deposition. It was on the phone through Zoom or whatever. And the guy said, like, what are they suing for? And it was like, oh yeah, $1 million or some shit. And they didn't get that in the end. Somehow, I guess our lawyers on our insurance side, I basically told them, they settled out of court, and I think they only got like $7,000 or something like that. Which I think after all the costs he probably had to pay for that lawyer, possibly, that would have been a lot more. He probably didn't get back what he put in, I would imagine. Possibly. I could be wrong, though. Or they were lying about how much they settled for. I don't know. But it was a complete fucking load of bullshit. Women get emotional as a bullshit way of trying to get out of responsibility. The female cop knew that and just assumed she's guilty. That's pretty funny. Yeah, I mean, I don't think my mom actually was doing that to try. Maybe she was subconsciously, but I don't think in that moment. I think knowing her, I think she just got so overwhelmed with the whole situation because what was it? I guess supposedly they brought like 2 ambulances. It was like literally like not even a fender bender, like barely anything. They brought 2 ambulances and at least 1 cop. So she saw that, got overwhelmed, which I think they do it automatically, I'm sure. Yeah, I don't know. I think she just got overwhelmed and then got upset from that. But her doing that clearly was in the guy what he probably wanted to some extent. Because her getting emotional is what made it so she got charged with the reckless or careless driving like right away, basically. And then they used that later on to sue her. And yeah, I mean, it was just a whole fucking load of nonsense, but it was the worst thing is that, like, I wish it was me that got in the accident or whatever, because I would have dealt with it like nothing. Like, it was such a non-factor to me, because I know what I kind of know I learned as I was doing that, the legal nonsense and how the system kind of bullshit works. But my mom being the one involved, that means I had to go through her for almost everything, and she was an emotional fucking stupid retard. So I had to deal with her fucking dumb bullshit reactions to everything every fucking time. So it made it 20 times harder. Like, if she wasn't my mother and I wasn't living here, I would have just said, hey, you know what? Talk to your lawyer. Fucking don't talk to me. Like, fucking, they deal with it then. I was basically her fucking lawyer. And it was it was fucking ridiculous. Yeah, it's the same. You have to be the adult in that family. I mean, really, like, I guess it's a good thing in some ways that I've learned some of this shit, but I guess, like, if they weren't such boomer retards, they'd probably be able to figure some of this shit out of themselves, but, they are what they are. I mean, even my dad doesn't have the spine to, like, just tell my mom, hey, stop having your brother come over here and, like, do stuff, like, build, like, he's coming out in, like, 2 days now to build, like, a stupid shed out there or some shit. Like, the fuck do we need a shed? Revelation happens in strange ways. Yeah, it's like, but yeah, Billy's breakdown of the I mean, that's the whole reason we got into this. like my mother being a piece of shit and how I'm thankful for that. Yeah, it's a good thing at the end of the day, but it is also just obnoxious as fuck to see these people just be literal children, like even stupider than children, because even children have more sense than these people, the way that these people act as fully grown fucking adults and like senior citizens now. It's like, holy shit. That's why now, after seeing the boomers, I don't really have much respect for even like any of the generations, or at least any of the like the silent generation, the quote unquote greatest generation. I don't have like any respect for anything, because I have a feeling that's probably almost how all of them basically operated to some extent. Maybe that's just the kind of NPC stuff, but yeah, like, because I analyze I analyze asking my dad questions, and I'm able to ascertain that my grandfather, even though I liked my grandfather and stuff, but I could tell that he was almost the exact same way as my dad is now. Like he was a beholden to his wife. The wife was the head of the household, the head of the family in essence. She would spend all the money, and he would just be like, okay, wifey, and shit like that. Uh, so even though I love my grandfather and stuff, just like I love my father and everything, uh, I could tell they're both kind of fucking uh, Kevin James fucking idiots. Kevin James fucking pussies. Silent Gen was awful. G.I. Gen was just as bad, only they got credit for dying into... Yeah, like... Oh, wow. Oh, wait. How do you do the golf clap? Good for you. You fucking were pussies and you said yes to the government. Oh, I'll go to war. Okay. Or they got shamed by their family members and women to go to war. Well, you fucking faggot motherfuckers. You could have said no, but you didn't. I mean, yeah. Oh, you say they couldn't say no. Well, I'd say, well, hey, you know what? Fuck you. I ain't going to any war. Put me in prison then, assholes. That's what I'd say. That's what I would do. What's his face supposedly did? What was it, like George Foreman or some fucking guy supposedly did that? That's what I'd do. People debate on whether the Bible has real stories, and realizing that the people in that book act the exact same made me realize, yeah, that shit is true. Yeah, no, it really is, and it's like, that's why the generation arguments don't really there is obviously different experiences that each generation has, but there is like almost no real difference at the end of the day. It's just fucking like the way that they act the way that they act and react to what those differences are is what matters. Not just the fact that they were born in a different year or a different age or whatever. Like, there's just as many stupid pussy motherfuckers. I don't care what the stupid data says with stuff like, oh yeah, the testosterone levels have significantly went down over the years and stuff, and I'm like, well, I don't think it really matters, because they all acted like fucking pussies. They all acted like idiots. They all acted like beholden little fucking cowards to the fake authorities of the governments and shit. Yeah, but besides that, the point I was making with Billy, that got on that with Billy. No, yeah, he definitely went through the bullshit with the child support system, and it is that fucking disgusting. And if you want to watch a really, really, really watered down vanilla version of the mainstream version of the bullshit that is that system, watch the movie with Dustin Hoffman, Kramer versus Kramer, because that's basically what the movie is about a guy getting fucked over by the child. I don't even think she was getting child support necessarily, so it's not even that system, but basically the favoritism of the government for the woman, or the quote-unquote mother, in terms of these what do they call them? These relationship, whatever, whatever the word is. These relationship disputes between married couples or whatever. These yeah, those that's basically what the movie's about. I don't even know if I would recommend it necessarily, but it does give somewhat of a very vanilla fucking and these boomers that even watch it, they don't even fucking understand what the implications of it are. It's like they don't even get the message from it. These fucking idiots, as Matt would call it, the popcorn crunchers. But yeah, Billy. I mean, good for him for fighting tooth and nail as he did. Unfortunate that he had to go through so much fucking bullshit to had to go through so much bullshit just to fight it. And I could see why he had to spend so much time doing it, because me just doing that stupid lawsuit or court case for my mom shit, I could see it would take like fucking hours and so many phone calls here, and I mean it didn't take that long usually, but just the fact that you have to comprehend all of the stuff that you're trying to read, as well as call people and make schedules and make compromises and stuff like that for time and stuff, and all this fucking shit. Like that deposition nonsense was so fucking stupid. Even with the Zoom shit was so stupid. Oh my god, you would have loved to see how I was, because I wasn't allowed to be in the same room when she was I was technically not allowed to be in the same room with her during the deposition. But I was like, this one, she is so hopeless. She doesn't even know what the fuck, like, to say or not say. The biggest thing is just don't say anything. But her fucking mouth, it refuses to just fucking close and shut up. And I was just like, trying to be away from the camera view. And I was like, oh my god, what is this one doing? It was fucking cringeworthy. Yeah, man, you need to get power of attorney or something for your parents, or at least your... No, yeah, I know. It's fucking ridiculous. Like, I mean, she is going actually senile now. I mean, she is definitely going senile. I don't know. It's probably enhanced by this bullshit, stupid medication stuff that she's been taking, either the cancer bullshit medication or the anti-anxiety medication bullshit. But her memory has been getting so much worse the past few fucking months. It's pretty nuts. Like, I don't know if we're going to get to the point where she is, like, unsafe to drive, but I'm sure it's not going to be that far away before it gets to that point. But, yeah. I mean, this is why I can kind of completely sympathize, even though it sounds fucked up. I can almost completely sympathize with these, like, people that work at these elderly care places and stuff, that like get physically abusive to them or whatever, because especially when they're people that are not even their own family or whatever, like they have no reason besides the fact that it's their job to actually just not straight up get fucking physical with these motherfuckers. Really, like there's so many times where I'm just like, man, fucking Kirk wants to choke a bitch right now. And sometimes I just want to slap the shit out of my dad, too. It's like the same shit. Like, they act like fucking complete idiots sometimes, man. Most of the time, I'll say complete idiots. But sometimes it just gets really fucking, like, holy shit. And that's why I feel bad for some kids that have parents. But I guess it really depends. I don't know. Like, that one kid that I was friends with, or guy that I was friends with, his parents... You could tell that they fucking abused him, like, not physically, but they abused him emotionally, and, yeah, they abused him verbally and stuff, like, they belittled him and stuff, and I was just thinking, I'm like, I understand, like, I would not want to get kicked out of my parents' house or some shit like that, but I'm like, man, I was just thinking, like, dude, you need to grow a fucking spine and just tell your dad to fuck right off, man, because... the way he is fucking treating you and talking to you like that and belittling you, saying that how much more successful your sister is and shit. It's like, dude, you gotta grow a fucking spine and just fucking tell that fucking dude off. But I don't know. That's just me. I guess if I was in the same position, it'd be difficult to say because, yeah, I don't know. Like my parents, they at least respect me enough to be all right with me getting a little bit disrespectful in the way I talk to them in ways. Like my dad, he's all right with me like calling him like, you know, stupid little names and shit, sometimes insulting him and stuff. He doesn't get that pissed off about it. But I have a feeling my friend's dad, he probably wouldn't be the same. So it's hard to say. But maybe if I was at that point and my parents were like disrespecting me like his parents were, I'd probably say, you know what? I will just move the fuck out of here. Fuck you. But I guess I'm lucky in that sense that it hasn't gotten to that point. I've learned to deal with my mother and her ways, to somehow better than my own dad. Which is like, my God, how stupid these fucking people are, that they don't even understand the fucking person they've been with for over 40 years of their fucking life. They have no fucking clue. They're so goddamn clueless. But yeah, what the point I was trying to make with Billy, is like, yeah, holy shit, he went through all that bullshit fighting the fucking stupid system. But yeah, it's not even a system that is like legally within its bounds to do that, but it is still allowed by the system to attempt to coerce and manipulate the person, that being like Billy or the ex-husband or whatever, to try and extort them, basically, to try and extort them and coerce them into signing their own rights away to some extent, or to convince them of that kind of shit. Abraham's spirit skips generations, like how Matt feels like a totally different person from his parents. I feel that way about mine. I probably had an ancestor that was like me, or saw the world like we do. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is that, I mean, I know there is more of the mainstream evidence and stuff like that to say against what I'm saying, but I'm like in that sort of thing, not so much solipsism, but I'm just like, man, I don't fucking believe, like, I almost don't believe this place existed, this realm, or this simulation existed like over 100 years ago or whatever. Like, I almost, like, I definitely don't, I definitely personally don't believe in the shit like the stuff like Genghis Khan and all that, like all the way that far back, even the medieval shit. I don't even believe that far back kind of crap. Like, maybe 150, maybe 200 years at most. At most, for like where but I know what you're saying. It's just like, yeah, I don't fucking know, man, because I don't think any people that I've ever seen in my family would even like consider any of the shit that I'm kind of talking about. Definitely not my mom's side. Maybe my dad's side, but I kind of doubt it. I kind of doubt it. Like, maybe on my mom's side, maybe some of my cousins, possibly, but even then, like, very unlikely that anybody thinks the same way that I do, or similar, or sees this shit that I do. I mean, it's hilarious too, because my brother, he's been acting like a basket case, like whatever, like completely fucking fucked up after after the tranny broke up with him and shit. Like, now he's like calling my mom like every day almost to like talk to her and shit. And I'm just like, dude, I don't know. It's all of this because like these people that are so desperate they need to be in some kind of relationship. It seems to be knowledge that's distributed arbitrarily. It's strange. It's knowledge from the aether is the best way I can put it. Yeah, it's, I mean, I guess I just kind of look at it almost, because I know that some people say with the NPC argument, like, nobody's an NPC, everybody is just different levels. I think it's mostly fear of being alone with their own thoughts. Yeah, I think that's a lot of the same case. Like, my brother, that is the thing. They're just afraid of being alone. They're afraid of hearing their own thoughts, and it's like their insecurity just makes it so they need to be with somebody, or they feel the need to be with somebody else like all the fucking time. And it's like, goddamn. And then when they get that kind of way, you can see why people wouldn't want to be with them, because it's like, it gets fucking obnoxious to have somebody that's that fucking needy. But like, I mean, he was so desperate to get in a relationship that he went with a fucking tranny of all things. Like, come the fuck on, dude. But it's funny too because that other guy, that Synthetic Man channel that I showed you at least one video of or whatever, like he knows so much of this shit with the how like at least the red pill stuff, like how how women kind of are and stuff, how they act and all that. And he has been getting like surprisingly like desperate almost in some of his live streams where he's talking about like that it's that he needs to find like some woman or something like that. He needs to get in some kind of relationship. Like it might not sound like that on the surface, but I could just kind of tell. Like his problem, I could tell, is that he seems to think, maybe it is true for him. He seems to think that if he is able to get into some kind of relationship with a woman, that that'll be the solution to his problems. Whereas instead of having to solve the problems within himself, that's the real solution. Not from some outside source, not from Eve. Adam is not going to solve his problems through Eve. He needs to solve it through himself. But he doesn't seem to realize that. He thinks that getting a woman is going to solve his problems. And really, it's probably just going to add more problems in most cases. But it's I think, and this guy does have self-reflection. Like he knows, he does notice his own problems, but his problem is that I guess he's too afraid to deal with them himself. He is too afraid to put action to solve his problems. But I guess I can't say much because I'm not in that state of like insecurity and anxiety or whatever, social anxiety, that I can't resolve some of the internal struggles that I have or whatever. So, but him thinking that a woman is going to solve his problems is like, it's not. It's definitely a spiritual topic. Your brother doesn't like being alone because the mirror is too much in his face. Self-perpetuating thoughts point back to a void of sorts. Hard to put into words what I mean. Yep, 100%. Yeah, it's and you can't just, I mean, with most of these guys, they won't, obviously take like any of that stuff that you say. So it doesn't really matter. It's kind of just psychoanalyzing and stuff, saying, yeah, these people have to solve their own problem. It's like even my dad has enough sense to realize that, is that with at least the way he described it with my mom's mother, my grandmother, is that you can't love others really until you start to love yourself. Maybe that's not true, but I think that is a fairly accurate way of putting it and looking at it, is that if you can't love yourself, you can't really love others. So there's no point in trying to love somebody else before you learn to love yourself to some extent. Yep, TLDR. Their solutions are within them, but they aren't even aware of it. Yeah, I know. It's fucked up. I mean, that point you made with Chrono, I didn't realize that. I mean, it makes sense that his element originally wasn't lightning, but light is Chrono, it being the protagonist, the main male protagonist, basically, even though, eventually he technically becomes an optional protagonist, but, he did have the representation of the light of his element or whatever. I mean, shit, why do you think so many of these paladins, too, and these fantasies and everything, like, almost all of them are men? I mean, I know that maybe that's me overlooking or thinking about it too much or whatever, but I don't think so. Almost all these fictional representation of paladins, these warriors of light, are men. I don't know. It's that's just me. These men that use the light, that have the light within them. I mean, it's not entirely true because it's not entirely accurate because you got people like Uther, Lightbringer and stuff. He's going to this ambiguous light. He's not saying it's within you, Arthur. It's with Arthas. It's within me, Uther, that I can cast these holy spells and shit. But still, it's kind of the same fucking point. Like, it's kind of the same fucking point. Chrono takes a backseat, but Chrono takes a back seat because that's what the true hero does. You can think of it as Chrono knowing when to back off and let the pros handle it. Chrono can finally relax. Yeah, it's true. Is that people that don't let their ego get in the way realize that they don't necessarily have to be the hero or the leader or whatever in all times, but they do it when need be. They do it when the time comes. Same with Jesus trying to point out that the light is within us already, at the risk of getting all weird and biblical. Yeah, I mean, I see it. I see it as that, and I think that's really the most important thing to realize, that the light is with... I mean, it always comes down to that, is that the light is within ourselves. You have to look in the mirror to solve all of your problems. None of them can be solved through the external. You have to solve all problems by going back to yourself, by looking in the fucking mirror, but most people cannot do that. Unfortunately, it seems. It makes me wonder the people that I wonder what that just I don't know, I just thought about that random thought. The people that are self-deprecating, it makes me wonder, do they realize? I don't think so. That's the thing. Like, what's the problem there? Is that the people that use, I think it's more that they use the self-deprecation as an excuse or almost a deflection. Like them, it's obviously an insecurity thing, is that they are saying, oh man, I'm so shit, to everybody else as an outward like projection. So basically they thinking that they won't be able to say anything back if they do that first, kind of. I guess that's one way to put it. Like they don't realize that the light is within them, and they're not actually like looking in the mirror necessarily. They're just kind of using it as a deflection, I guess. More so than actually trying to figure out what's up with themselves and try and solve it that way. Jesus was the archetypical hero story, which is why it resonates with a lot of people. I mean, fucking every story that most people seem to like, to an extent, like, always follows almost the same fucking theme, almost almost to a T. Like, all those goddamn RPGs on the SNES, like, almost every single one follows the exact same fucking hero story kind of shit. Now, I'm sure there's many that I'm sure there's a few out there that don't, but almost everyone does. There was a topic I was gonna mention when I mentioned something about... Oh yeah, I was gonna say that. What was it? That's what I was gonna comment on, like a video or even make a video about it, but since I'm just talking consciously or whatever, stream of consciousness in this live stream. I was gonna say, oh yeah, no, you mentioned that, or Billy mentioned that, and then you mentioned it too, saying that the people like Blackpilled, that Blackpilled channel or whatever, is that they'll complain or like point out all the bad things or like all that's wrong with stuff, but they won't give solutions. And with that in mind, like while I agree with that, it makes me think, like, do I, with how much I complain about stuff, do I give solutions, really? And I guess I do. I guess, like, basically what we just talked about to some extent is that the solution is, it kind of always is the same thing. It's a very generic thing. The solution is always pointing back at yourself. The solution is within you. That's where all solutions come from and point towards, is yourself. So I guess that's my solution. Now, you know, would that automatically make the black-pilled guy not those kind of complainers if he said something like that? Maybe. But yeah, I don't know. Like, do I give practical solutions for any of the stuff that I talk about? Sometimes. But I realize that a lot of these quote-unquote practical solutions are usually very biased towards my own experiences, advice. That's why I don't really try to give much advice for specific people. Maybe I'll give my own experiences and then how I did something, like. But solutions, I don't know. besides that one, that's the only one I can really think of. Is like, yeah, the pointing towards back to yourself, looking within. That is where all the solutions are. That's the, I guess that was just a thought that I had thinking about that comment with the people that don't have solutions. I'm like, well, do I even give solutions? I don't know. I think I give more solutions than they do, but maybe I still don't give enough. I don't know. But yeah, like, can you even really give any solutions besides that one? When someone asks for advice, that's them usually passing the buck. If you offer a solution, they now have a potential scapegoat in case something goes wrong. Yeah. And also, at the end of the day, I mean, maybe this is wrong, potentially, but I think that also is the case, is that unless somebody's specifically asking for help in some way or asking for advice or something like that, that's the only time that they might even potentially listen at all. If you just give advice without them first kind of like giving you permission to do so or whatever, it's basically completely a waste of time, because they're almost 100% not going to listen. At least that's always been my experience. They just want to complain and vent. And that's why there's a lot of times where I don't even enjoy having many conversations with a lot of people. Like when I watched that fucking video about how to not be toxic in conversation or whatever. Yeah. It's like, it describes it like that. And I already knew that most people are just looking to vent or complain or whatever. But at the same time, it's like, well, I'm not your fucking shoulder to cry on. Like, I'm not your emotional mule to just throw all of your fucking problems onto. So in a lot of cases, I probably would tell somebody like, hey, I'm not here to be your fucking emotional baggage cart. Like, hey, if you want to bitch about something, bitch to somebody else or something. I don't know. Like, I'm not here to fucking do that for you. I'm not gonna be your little mule for your fucking bullshit. Trauma dumping. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I'm not here to be have your trauma dumped on me. Talk to the mirror. End of the day, really talk to the fucking mirror then. I mean, maybe that's actually a good thing in a way with, maybe that sounds weird in a way, but maybe that's a good thing with stuff like these AI chatbots and LLMs and stuff, is that these people can trauma dump onto a machine, and a supposedly non-living machine, rather than doing it to another human being, and then all the cost to that person that comes with doing that to other people, trauma dumping on other people. Maybe that's a good thing, is that, because I will say you can have, I mean, it's the AI is a little bit, it is definitely too the way that it talks can be a little bit fucking obnoxious. Like, it's like it blows your dick a little bit too much. Like, that's a good question. That's a great observation. Shit like that. But at the very least, it can give some kind of fucking place for people to trauma dump. But then again, maybe people can just trauma dump by just writing what they think down. Like, I do think writing shit down really does help. Taking it out of your mind, whatever you want to say, taking it out of your mind and then putting it onto something like paper and just imprisoning it there instead of leaving it in your mind, I guess. Like, definitely writing shit like that down definitely helps. And that's why I think stuff like diaries, that's what people would normally call those, they can be helpful. I don't use a diary anymore or anything like that, but I use like stuff like Discord notes to note shit down, but I don't really have that much to trauma dump. Then again, maybe some of my videos could be considered trauma dumping in a way, when I think about it, but I guess it's not like I'm going up to somebody or somebody that I know and just being like, here, I'm dumping this onto you. People that view my videos where I might be considered trauma dumping or whatever, they don't have to watch it. That's completely up to them if they want to watch it. So, I guess that's one way to look at it, rather than people physically going up to others and trauma dumping on them. They don't really have much choice or say in that, besides saying, hey, fuck off. Like, I don't need to listen to your bullshit right now. So I guess that's one that's one plus side for certain technologies. If I do complain about something on my channel, I'm going to tie it back into spirituality in some way. Yeah, like, I mean, I'm not gonna lie and say like that's me as well, because I think a lot of my shit, if you looked at it, a lot of my shit is just fucking can be venting about stuff. But at the same time, I do try to uh, tie that back to whatever I'm trying to talk about in some way. So it's not just like literally just me complaining about stuff. Usually, I'll usually try to tie back this in some way to something else. What the fuck was some of this other shit I was looking up? Fucking the MLM and versus pyramid scheme. I was looking up something. My dad, probably his only solution, really, unfortunately, to his hip pain is to get a fucking hip replacement surgery or whatever. And I was looking up, I was wondering, I was like, wait a minute, how the fuck don't people have to take fucking medication like anti-autoimmune medication to have like anything like that put into their body? And apparently, supposedly, no. That's only the case with stuff like organ transplants, because then the body tries to reject that foreign tissue or whatever otherwise. Um, but then I said, like, with a splinter, like, what about, like, a metal splinter? And it was like, oh, well, that thing is usually dirty and stuff. That's why it has the immune response. But supposedly the hip replacement things are, like, fucking, medical grade metal and ceramic and stuff. So the body usually doesn't do that or whatever. But I don't know. I still tell my dad, I'm like, if I was on your position, I don't know how painful it is, but I'm like, I still don't know if I would go under the knife with these fucking assholes for that. I don't know. I think you have arthritis. I think you have arthritis. You have too, since that attacks the joints no matter what. I think you have arthritis. You have to. Oh, since that attacks the joints no matter what. Probably assuming the same thing you did. No, no, I don't think so. Not necessarily. I mean, arthritis is, at least by the stupid term, arthritis is literally just, since itis is like inflammation. Arthritis is just inflammation of the joints, basically. In his case, the supposed diagnosis from looking at X-rays and shit is that he has severe osteoarthritis, which is basically, in English, severe wearing down of the hip socket, in this case, of the hip socket stuff, material in it. It's like the stuff that lubricates the joints, the stuff is worn down and the bone is slightly like porous now and stuff. So it's like worn down, so there's pain and inflammation from that movements of like basically instead of metal to metal for like a machine comparison, it's bone to bone kind of. And that's why a hip replacement surgery would basically just be putting a not worn out thing, this being a ceramic metal hip, metal rod instead of the hip. It would take out the hip bone and replace it with that or whatever. But I don't know. I don't trust these fuckhead doctors that I don't know. Once again, I'm not in his position, so I don't know how painful it really is. All I know is he walks like a fucking penguin. He walks like a penguin now. So I'm like, hey, that's up to you, man. I don't know if I trust these fucking doctors to do that bullshit. And that's not even considering the other stuff, like the cost of the surgery. Even if his job's medical covers 80% of it, well, 80% of who knows, 250,000 or some shit is still like 20,000. So that's like, yeah, I don't know. And who knows? Maybe the surgery will leave you in more pain. You never fucking know with this dumb shit. So it's like, fuck it. I was looking up stuff about roofing. Did it show me stuff? Oh yeah, see, like I looked up, what did I say? Can you give me any recommendations for roofers within my area? And then it gave a bunch of stuff that I'd be able to find on Google, but at least it gave a nice summary of it. So it's like, this is way better than fucking just looking shit up on Google like that. Mostly, you know, you have to do your own like checking for stuff as well. What was the fucking how to deal with a severe cat allergy without getting rid of the cat, and then what was it? Supposedly feel D1 is a protein found in cat saliva, skin flakes, urine, and fur. This protein become airborne, stick to surfaces, blah 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 blah. That's the main thing that causes the allergic reaction to cats. And my dad and I definitely have that. Somewhat bad, but I think we've at least adapted to it a fair amount. But the fact that they have the cat Buddy come into their room all the time and he gets his fur everywhere and shit, my dad was definitely having the most severe reactions to it. So that's why he's been taking that medication to basically deal with the allergy symptoms and stuff, and it's been working very well. But me, I would probably feel like I'd have to do the same thing if I let Buddy in the room as well with me, because holy shit, I would not be able to fucking sleep at all with some of that bullshit. Reminds me that my cat fractal slow down, at least for me. Oh, yeah. I don't know. Has there been any... I mean, the Kevin James one, I guess. Kevin James fractal, I haven't been really paying that much attention, I guess. I haven't seen much of that kind of stuff pop up, even though I do notice some synchronicity stuff. Always the numbers 311, 911, 33s fucking everywhere. 33s everywhere all the fucking time. Yeah, that Kevin James Jelly Roll bullshit. I'm like, what the fuck? I didn't even know who Jelly Roll was. I knew who Kevin James was just because of King of Queens, but I'm like, wait, really? 88's still going crazy. Yeah, fucking for me, it's the fucking 33s. I mean, look how close they are to each other anyway, the fucking 88 and 33. You just take out, like, 2 sections, then boom, you got 33. What was it? Something I thought, oh, that was something I thought about. What was it? Some shape I thought about was literally like the 33 I just thought about. Oh, yeah, that was it. I don't know why I thought about that a few hours, like, I think this morning. The fuck was it, like, cartoon heart shape. So, like, the way that, you know, like a heart, like an actual anatomically accurate human heart or whatever, looks nothing like the cartoon heart. Yeah, hooray for Schizoar, yeah. It looks nothing like a cartoon heart. But then you have to think, like, why do we draw hearts like that then? Like, why has that always been the case? Why do we draw hearts like that? And then it just kind of made me think. I was like, wait a minute. the heart, the top of the heart of the cartoon heart, it looks a lot like a 3. It looks like a lot like a 3. And then if you have that, the bottom part is like a triangle when you take out that part with the 3. And a triangle has 3 sides. So you got fucking 33. Because you got the 3, and then you have the triangle at the bottom, which is 3 sided. So you got the fucking 33. I think you could probably tell what I'm putting down, but yeah, you got the 3 that looks better than this one. You got the 3, and then you got the triangle, which has 3 sides, 33. So to me, the cartoon heart looks like a 33. Now, yeah, that's definitely some schizo shit, but I don't know why the fuck I thought about it like either today or yet earlier today or yesterday, but I was like, wait a minute. I was like, motherfucker, triangle and a fucking 3. I think the triangle, man, that's like the biggest fucking, that's like the biggest thing. Like one thing I learned in I don't know what we had, like a CAD class, like the program CAD for like AutoCAD class I remember in high school. And yeah, like apparently the triangle is like the most structurally sound shape or some shit like that. I watched the guy stamp hearts on a piece of bread to make fancy toast. Funny you brought up the cartoon heart. Yeah, man. But fucking triangles, man. I think that's like that's one of my fractals now. It's like everything is fucking triangles. Everything leads back to three, man. It literally everything. This fucking reality is made out of threes. Let's see. What is the matrix code graphic look like? Isn't it ones and zeros? I'm like, man, it shouldn't be ones and zeros or whatever. It should be fucking threes because that seems to be this reality. Everything fucking leads back to threes in some way, shape, or form. Fuck these ones or zeros, man. It's three. That was always a thing that I wondered. I remember in fucking my stupid digital logic or whatever class in college. I always thought, why is everything one and zero? Why is everything binary, one or zero, on or off? I was like, why would they not design this stuff? Because the logic, the logic is, at least in terms of the computer logic or whatever, is that is that high is that one or zero are two different states of a voltage, basically. So like say between 2 points you have a voltage of 3 volts and a positive or negative, like negative 3 volts or positive 3 volts or whatever. Basically, either one way is pushing the other, or the other way is pushing that the other way, or whatever. I'm doing a terrible way of describing it, but that is how supposedly the computer reads every one or zero is basically a signal of on or off. That's the logic behind it. On or off based on these voltage ranges of something, a voltage range. But I was thinking, if it's a range of voltage, why the fuck does it need to only have two fucking states? Why does it only have to have two states? That's fucking stupid. Why not have at least like three? Why not have three states? Why couldn't you have three states? You have three states that are three different states that are just three different ranges of voltage that it's reading at. Like, then you can have logic that has not just on or off, but maybe or whatever, like a maybe between on or off or something. Like three different states. You could do so much potentially with that, I think, at least. I'm sure these egghead fucking assholes that all they ever read was their fucking their college textbooks, and they know nothing else than that, would say anything that, that's completely ridiculous. Like, you just don't understand. But they would never be able to give an actual reason why there can't be three states in digital logic. Like, why can't there be multiple states? I don't know. It's just fucking... It's one of those fucking another reality breaking bullshit with this science nonsense. I'm like, there is no real good reason that you can only have an on or off state with this digital logic shit. You should be able to easily have three. I don't know. And then they give this shit, oh yeah, it's more efficient this way with the 8 bits and stuff. Like, fuck you. They're just fucking assholes, like these doctors that just regurgitate fucking back what they're just regurgitating back what their books tell them, and then what their professor told them, and their professor is regurgitating what the book told them. They're not actually thinking for themselves. So, unless you do something on your own, like, you're never gonna get a fucking answer from these academic fuckheads. And most people that think that the academic people are some kind of authority or whatever, when they're really not. Yeah, apparently they have not a few treatments or whatever for like cat allergies and shit, like exposure therapy and stuff. What do they call that? Gradual dose increase. Oh, what the fuck? What did they call it? Come on. I will say it can be difficult to search through fucking ChatGPT's law or entry or whatever. Okay, yeah, what was it? Nasal steroids, which basically that's what my dad's taking now. Inhibitors. Oh, I think he was taking that one, actually, now that I think about it. He stopped taking that one because we were kind of thinking it wasn't really changing anything, and the symptoms, potential symptoms of it seemed way worse than the benefits it was giving, which was nothing. So I said, yeah, fuck that. Oh yeah, allergy shots, immunotherapy. That's what it was called, immunotherapy. I would just call it exposure therapy because that's exactly what it is. What the hell is this? Oh yeah, capacitor. Fucking. This one was kind of interesting, but it's more of the electronics fucking bullshit. Man, I forget so much of the shit that I learned in the stupid electronics college classes and stuff. Not that it really matters, honestly. It's a lot of nonsense. So a multimeter measures capacitance by charging the capacitor and measuring how long it takes to charge. Does this mean that a capacitor measured with a multimeter is technically able to shock afterwards? Yes, a capacitor measured with a multimeter can still retain a charge, blah blah blah, but then it was saying fucking like a capacitor can be charged but with a lower voltage, but I was like, wait a minute, well, how does that work? But then it made the comparison, oh, it's like a bucket, but then you have a bucket that is filled, but then you could also have a bucket that is filled with a different water pressure. And then I was just thinking that's like kind of a shit comparison because not really. Like if you just have a bucket, the water pressure is usually like zero, whatever gravity would be that's pushing down on the water. That's what the pressure is. So it's not a great comparison, but I guess it kind of works. But like yeah, you could have a capacitor that's charged at 5 volts that has a capacitance of 45 what the microfarads, but you could also have a capacitor that is 45 microfarads that is charged with 100 volts, which would be much more energy stored within it than the 5-volt one. So I was like, okay, that's kind of weird. Like, explain that to me. And I think it explained it fairly well, even though it's still not the greatest shit that it gave, but, you know. And what, oh yeah, I looked up fucking what to do with grapes, because she bought some fucking grapes, and I was like, well, no one's gonna eat these fucking grapes, so maybe I could do something, cook something with these fucking things. There was a bunch of other shit that I looked up. R22 availability in the US, blah blah blah. AC unit. I was looking up shit with Frog's character because I was curious. I was like, so how did he talk? And I was like, you probably don't know much about to chat GPT. I was like, you probably don't know much about the Japanese version of these characters and shit, but supposedly it did. Yeah. And supposedly the way Frog talked in Japanese was not like the American what the fuck? Woolly? Was it Woolly? Yeah, the Woollyism or whatever. It wasn't like the Woollyism kind of like really ridiculously emphasized Shakespearean speech. Woolsey. It wasn't the ridiculously emphasized like Woolsey stuff with the Shakespearean shit, but it was still a very proper way of speaking in Japanese, I guess. Like I guess sort of how a samurai might speak or some shit, like very proper. But then I also read like I guess in English, the ones that weren't translated by Woolsey, I saw them. I'm like, yeah, they look fucking like it's formal, but it is boring. It's really fucking boring. I don't like the. I wonder if Frog was less depressed than the JP version, possibly. Let's ask it. Let's ask it. Let's see what it says. So, in the English translation done by Ted Woolsey, Frog seems very down and seems very depressed and down on himself. in many situations. Is this the same in the Japanese translation? Or the original Japanese translation? Now let's see if ChatGPT fucking hallucinates some bullshit here. I mean, I won't be able to tell because I don't know what the fuck he said. He's like in the Japanese version, but let's see what ChatGPT makes up here. Who knows? Excellent observation, and you're absolutely right to pick up on that. Ted Woolsey's localization of Chrono Trigger gave Frog a very somber, self-loathing tone in many of his lines, especially when reflecting on Cyrus. I mean, it's fucking right about this shit, I'll give it that. So it does know some shit here. Especially when reflecting on Cyrus's death or his failure to protect others. But in the original Japanese version, while Frog is still serious and burdened by guilt, he's betrayed with more quiet dignity than overt self-pity. Oh, okay. Quiet dignity than overt self-pity. Okay, so apparently in the Japanese version, he is not that as emo. But let's see. English, Ted Woosley's SNES version. Frog often sounds like he's wallowing in regret. He uses dramatic, emotionally heavy language like, "Mine honor hath been stained by the blood of thy friend, I am a failure." When does he say that? Mine honor hath been stained by the blood of thy friend, I am a failure. Maybe that's when he's talking about Chrono, possibly, because that's definitely when he's not. That's not because I don't think any of this stuff he talks about. I don't think any of this stuff he talks about directly with Cyrus, especially when he's not a frog yet. He doesn't speak like that, so I think he's talking about when Chrono dies. I think I could be wrong though. This makes him come across as tragic and tormented, a knight haunted by his past. Yeah, that's what I'm guessing. Might be when Chrono dies and you speak to Frog at the end of time. That's what I'm guessing. Wow, yeah, I am a failure. That really is fucking emo. Japanese version. Frog. Huh? I don't know how to say that. It's like Keanu, almost Keanu Reeves. Karu. Maybe that's how you say frog in Japanese. Karu is still grieving the loss of his friend Cyrus and clearly feels a deep responsibility, but his tone is more reserved and introspective, not melodramatic. He speaks in formal, polite language, sometimes with humble self-deprecation, but not excessive self-loathing. Instead of saying, "I'm a failure," for example, he might say something closer to, "I didn't have the strength." Yeah, I guess that's a little bit less emo, but still a little bit. This emphasizes regret and desire to improve rather than hopelessness. Why the difference? Ted Woolsey had a very limited space due to cartridge memory constraints, so he had to compress and stylize dialogue. The Shakespearean tone added weight, but also made Frog sound more dramatic and mournful than he actually is in Japanese. Japanese media often portrays honor and guilt with quiet understatement, while Woosley's localization leaned into Western tragic hero trope. I guess that makes sense. Thinking about the Japanese, how they, as I talked about with the difference in cultures, they are much less likely to kind of like outwardly talk about or speak about their shortcomings as well as their emotions. So they are much less likely to be kind of like self-loathing outwardly or whatever in that way, in a very dramatic way. Whereas in Woosley's translation, he went for the more Western, like emotionally outward speaking kind of shit, I guess. Summary: Japanese Frog, regretful, noble, stoic, humbly burdened. Woosley's Frog, melancholic, poetic, tormented, and full of self-blame. So yes, he's serious in both versions, but the degree and flavor of his emotional tone are quite different. Would you like to see a direct comparison of a specific line from both versions? I mean, you already gave me one, kind of. Okay, well, I'll give ChatGPT that. I wasn't expecting that kind of breakdown. Um, okay, well, I'll give ChatGPT that. I wasn't expecting that kind of breakdown. Um, okay, well, I'll give ChatGPT that. I wasn't expecting that kind of breakdown. Um, okay, well, I'll give ChatGPT that. I wasn't expecting that kind of breakdown. Um, okay, well, I'll give ChatGPT that. I wasn't expecting that kind of breakdown. Might be, yeah. Oh, it's a frog noise, like a croak. Japanese love their noises turned into names. Yeah, they love their fucking, like, their version of automatopoeia or whatever. Fucking, that's like, that's, the fucking Japanese are goddamn in love with fucking puns. At least, like, so many of these fucking people in Japan, like, it's so much about fucking puns. Like, Toriyama, almost all of his names are fucking almost all of his character names, and I'm not gonna say they're necessarily bad. It's just it's when you realize it, it's fucking kind of like it becomes kind of obnoxious when you realize it's like, man, every fucking name is just a pun of something. It's like, but yeah, the Japanese really love their fucking automatopoeia. It's fucking weird. It's weird, but I guess it works. But it is like I told you, I said in that one video. Uh, I still like the American translation of, or the English translation localization for Earthbound more than I do the Japanese one. Even though I realize some of the enemies have slightly better names. They do have slightly better names because they do use some of that pun and noise stuff to make some funny names. But I think generally in the English version, I think the enemies have better, more quirky and funny names, more memorable names like uh Ramble. What the fuck is it? God damn it, Strutting Mushroom. Strutting Mushroom, is that what the fuck it's called? I think that's one of them at least. Oops. Mobile. No, that's Mobile Sprout. Strutting Mushroom. That Mushroom Earthbound. I fucking forget. Earthbound. Strutting. Oh yeah, Strutting Evil Mushroom. Strutting Evil Mushroom. Oh yeah, and then there's Rambling the Evil Mushroom. Yeah, yeah. And I think there's some other variants, or maybe that's the only two variants. I think it might be Rambling Evil Mushrooms and Strutting Evil Mushrooms. Uh, Mobile Sprouts and shit. Yeah, I just like. I figure that's why you, Rudy. I figure that's why you like. You probably like Final Fantasy VI. I don't know why. Why did I find that? I don't know why I found that somewhere, but I don't think I asked ChatGPT. But Final Fantasy VI, I guess the English translation was also done by Ted Woosley. So I guess there's a lot of Woosley vibes in Final Fantasy VI as well. I mean, I guess it makes sense that they're, Chrono Trigger and Final Fantasy VI were made by Square. Um, so they probably had the same in-house translator as well, that being Ted Woosley, which is good. I did enjoy Chrono Trigger's translation, even though or localization, because I've seen the non Ted Woosley localization, and I find some of it kind of lame, or I find it much more lame. It has much less character to it, and I don't like that. I enjoy the added character and shit. Even though some of it, like people that say, oh, they can't understand Frog, fuck off. Like, I mean, most of the shit you can completely understand fine with what Frog is saying, even if it's hard to read initially sometimes. Like, come on, the fuck out of here. And maybe he could have been a little bit less emo, but still, like the way he talks is like his one of his best fucking memorable characteristics. Um, wow, yeah, I've had a lot of various conversations with ChatGPT, but this is what I'm saying is like it is so much better than like just a Google search at this point. Is Yeah, I don't know. Like, did you expect it to give that kind of response? Like, maybe it's completely bullshit, but it sounds believable enough to me. The difference between the Japanese and Frog, like how they talk, like that sounds legit enough to me. And I don't think I would ever find that unless I search for hours and hours and hours on fucking on Google or whatever. Apparently, Woosley was a writer in Scarlet, in Secret of Evermore. Yeah, that makes total sense. Thanks, ChatGPT. I guess I'll ask. What what games did Ted Woolsey have a hand in translating into English? Ted Woolsey is a well-known figure in the world of 1990s JRPG localization. He worked at Square, now Square Enix, during a during its peak, I would say, during a pivotal time, and responsible for localizing several major titles, often under tight deadlines and severe cartridge space limits, which shaped his translation style. Oh no, ChatGPT is gonna figure out that we know each other. That's what I. Oh no! How tragic. He translated Breath of Wow. Fucking guy had. I wonder if I doubt he got paid enough. Honestly, he probably got a fucking shitty hourly wage or whatever. Um, Final Fantasy VI. That's six, right? Yeah, Final Fantasy VI. Known for iconic lines like "Son of a submariner, I'm gonna rip your lungs out." Gonna rip your lungs out. He didn't translate Breath of Fire 2, and it shows. The translation for that game is terrible. Yeah, I've heard that. That's like one of the things I've heard about Breath of Fire 2 more than anything is that it had a really shit translation. That is pretty unfortunate. Um, I wonder who translated Lufia 2. Now I'm curious about that. Chrono Trigger, he was the only translator. Famous for Frog's Shakespearean speech and a surprisingly emotional and coherent story given the tight constraints. Widely praised as one of his best works, Secret of Mana, translator, suffered from extremely limited text space, which led to a choppy and minimal script. Woolsey himself has acknowledged that the localization didn't do the game's original script full justice. Secret of Evermore, Woolsey did not translate this one, but was involved with its development. This was a US-developed RPG by Square USA, often mistakenly thought to be his work because of the humor in the writing. Secret of Mana barely has a coherent story. I was kind of shocked to hear he translated it. Well, at least with ChatGPT, supposedly the excuse is that I guess he didn't have enough cartridge space to work with or some shit, supposedly. Breath of Fire, co-translation with Capcom. Woolsey helped localize this title, although Capcom was the lead. It was one of the few cross-company collaborations at the time. Really? God damn. This guy well, I'll get okay, that makes sense because that was Square as well. Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars, notable for its whimsical tone, puns. Was there a lot of puns in that game? I don't even remember. And memorable lines. Bowser's reluctant alliances. Woolsey's humor worked well here. Yeah, that's pretty funny. I do remember that shit. Bowser probably got most of his notable kind of personality from that game, really. You know, Nintendo kept Woolsey's translation in the Super Mario RPG remaster, which is crazy. Yeah, that is crazy. And it makes you wonder, fucking cunts. I don't know. I mean, maybe they truly felt it was better to have it as the other ones. I don't know. I don't even want to see what they would have made that script if they changed it or whatever. It probably would have been so lame. Post-Square career. After leaving Square, Woolsey worked for Real-Time Associates Microsoft and Nexon. Among others, he was less involved in hands-on localization after the 1990s, but remained active in game development and publishing. Notes on style. Woolsey's translations are often referred to as Woolseyisms, colorful, sometimes loose interpretations of the Japanese scripts that aim to capture feeling over literal translation. Some fans loved it, others felt he took too many liberties, but almost all agree he made the best of near impossible conditions. Would you like a breakdown of where his translations differed significantly from the original Japanese or how he might have shaped our view, blah, blah, blah? No, I was going to ask something. Breath of Fire, no. It said some shit. Fuck. It was something I was gonna ask. something I was gonna ask. I don't know. Yeah, he supposedly translated Chrono Trigger in a month. Yeah, fuck. I mean, if that's true, goddamn. What was I gonna say about translators? Yeah, I know the game. The game that I make mods for, whatever Daggerfall Unity. The guy who made Daggerfall Unity, Gavin Clayton. I've talked to him many times before. Um, but he made a pretty elaborate system for localization if people wanted to. Like, if people want to do their own localizations of, like, text characters and stuff, like, they're pretty readily able to do it the way that he has it set up and everything, which took a lot of effort on his part. But it is pretty crazy to just think of, like, how much really work it takes to do, like, any localizations, and for just how many different fucking languages there are in the Tower of Babel, fucking that is all languages and shit. And just how much, at the same time, how much gets lost in translation because of that. Uh, but yeah, that's just a thing I remember always being curious about. Was like, god damn, man, it takes a lot of fucking effort to translate just anything, let alone like an entire game script for an RPG and shit. Even just like one guy told me that he translated like art like what was it, like articles from English to like Turkish or some shit. And like just one article would sometimes take him like 3 to 4 hours, just one. And I'm just like, wow. I could just imagine like an entire fucking game script. And then you also have to imagine just the way that these game scripts are probably given to them. Kind of like with voice actors, a lot of times they're not given necessarily context of what they're saying and what lines they're being given to say. So that's why they could sometimes, if they're given poor direction, that's why they could come off as like inappropriate tone for whatever they're saying in a certain time. Like they're just kind of given these lines and they're just told like to say these lines, and without context in a lot of ways. And it's the same thing with these translations. Like they're just given probably like almost like a text dump of lines. Yeah, Resident Evil 1. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's so many cases where these English translation companies or whatever would do such a shit job. Especially like voice acted translation stuff, they're like very unprofessionally done and stuff. Like literally just people taken from their offices and told like, "Hey, can you read these lines?" kind of shit. That was especially prevalent. I mean, it still is, but it was especially prevalent back then in the early days of video game popularity. But yeah, like so, someone like Ted Woosley was probably just for the most part just kind of given like a whole fucking dump of like text and just said like translate it, and then just having to figure all that out and then like make a coherent story out of all of that and like connect all the stuff in your own mind to be like, all right, how does this story have to go? How am I gonna translate these things to convey this stuff? Like, it's fucking crazy. And just like any role in any of these fucking companies and shit, I'm sure none of those people got fucking compensated anywhere near what probably it was really worth at the end of the day. As Billy would say, that's why, best to work for yourself rather than for somebody else. Enriching somebody else instead of yourself in that sense. Even if it's not always realistic, but yeah. What the fuck? Oh, yeah, the Woolseyisms. God. I should make this fucking this stream this is basically a variety show, a huge variety show. Um I wonder how I could do that. I should have had this also recording at the same time. I should have had this recording at the same time, but maybe just I don't know, uploading it as the stream it is and then just saying, "All right, fuck it." Maybe that'll work. I don't know. I don't know. I'll see, I guess. Now, I didn't get that much drawing done, considering I've been going on for about 3 hours. But I did a little bit of 1 point perspective. Download it from YouTube Studio and edit out the first hour. Yeah, that's... I guess I could do that. Yeah, can you download your own videos? I never thought about that. I guess it'll probably be extra compressed, but that's alright. It doesn't really fucking matter. I know in a lot of cases if you need to have YouTube Premium to download other people's videos, but you're probably right. I could probably download my own shit. At least however it gets, in whatever form it gets compressed on YouTube and shit. So that's a good idea. Was there anything else I was gonna feel like talking about? I don't know. I want to take a shower. Or not that I YouTube Premium encrypts, but when you download your own stuff, it's MP4. Your own stuff, it's MP4. Oh, okay, yeah, that sounds perfect then. I'll probably do that because this was definitely more of a variety show than anything. I feel like I still want to talk about something. I just am forgetting what. Like, when I downloaded your videos when your mic was messed up, I used a third-party program to download it and fixed all the audio. Oh, okay, so you actually downloaded from YouTube. Okay, I'm fucking lazy, and I would do the ghetto approach, and I'd probably just watch the video while having OBS screen capture. or screen capture or capture the audio and then just stop it when the video's over. I've done that with so many fucking songs and shit, but that's probably a better way to do it. I did use one like software to like download audio from videos, but it seemed to like stop working or some shit, and I just said fuck it after a while. I use a shady Russian program called Download Master and another app on my phone, New Pipe. I think the one that I was using was some fucking Russian shit too, but it was a different one than that. That's a pretty good thing though. What was the other fucking bullshit I was gonna talk about? I guess I can ramble a little bit about some other stuff I was gonna bake. So I'm glad I made scones. That was cool. I'll definitely make scones again. They came out pretty good. A little bit could use a little bit more salt, I think, honestly. The recipe only says like a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. I think I put like at least a 1/2 teaspoon, if not more. I think I could still use a little bit more salt. But probably some other stuff with a little bit more flavor could be added, but it's still pretty good. Good texture and everything. I want to make tiramisu, and possibly homemade lady fingers, which you use to make tiramisu. But yeah, those are two things two different, more difficult, quote unquote, more difficult things to make than the usual that I want to make eventually. I gotta decant my extracts soonish, because they've been in there for like over 6 months, and I think some of them are definitely probably ready. Obviously got to do more drawing practice, but I think, as you said, I mean, worst case, I think worst to say is I think it looks a little bit crooked, some of them, but for 1 point perspective, not too bad. I gotta fuck with 2 point perspective. 3 point perspective, probably not necessary to fuck with, but it's there. Then I gotta practice some other shit too. But I guess for today, 1 point perspective for about an hour. Not too bad. And I guess that's it that I had to talk about, I guess. I pretty much rambled on for a while here, but yeah, I would suggest give ChatGPT more of a try if you use search engine stuff at all. It's definitely really handy, and just just don't believe everything it says, because like anything, it's a fucking, most of it's going to be a lie to some extent, but you'll probably get as much bullshit from it as you will from any other person you tried to ask, and especially any search engine you try to ask. So it's definitely a useful tool to get your hands on at this point. It's especially useful for coding too, because fucking like I think the original place that people went to for coding, what was it, Stack Overflow, like that shit has probably become like Stack Overflow. That shit has probably become like almost dead in comparison to what it used to before this large language model ChatGPT shit started to get popular. Because it was just, I mean, it worked, but it was also obnoxious because people would be fucking like, they would answer in very passive aggressive and obnoxious ways and shit, and like, oh, if you asked the same question, people would get all pissed off, like, oh, that's already been asked and stuff. So it was like trying to go through a bunch of bullshit just to get the fucking answer. But now, in a lot of cases, you can kind of just ask ChatGPT and it basically does most of that bullshit searching for you. So you don't have to deal with that. But, you know, as some people have said, potentially, well, that's it, you know, eventually it's going to get to the point where it's like, oh, well, it's just, there's not going to be enough for it to pull from, so the results from ChatGPT are just going to get worse and worse over time, which that's probably true, maybe. But for, hey, right now, it's pretty much the only viable option because the search engines themselves suck ass, so... and are purposely. I am sure. I'm almost certain that there's going to be within a few decades or something. There's going to be some falling out where Google just dies. Like Google itself, the website just dies. It becomes so unpopular, so fucked up on purpose that it just no longer gets used. And then it'll only be ChatGPT or whatever. It'll only be the LLMs. I'm sure that'll be something within like 2 decades. If not faster, because, you know, as this clown show is going Mach speed, I'm sure it's got plans to expedite all of those things. All right, but I think I've done enough rambling for tonight. I'm going to go do my pull-ups, and then I'm going to shave my face, and then I'm going to shower, and then maybe I'll try to re-upload this. Yeah, within Boomer's lifetime for sure. Yeah, most likely. More than likely. But, alright. Thank you for chilling with me, or talking with me, Rudy, and I hope you have a good one, and anybody else listening to this after the fact, take care. Peace, everyone.